last example, or actually not our last, but our next example is about social media listening. So we talked a little bit about channels, we talked about analytics, we talked about speech. Now I want to talk about social media listening, something that is becoming larger and larger from an importance perspective, not necessarily by manpower, but at least from an importance perspective. Some of the things that I think we've all found in either from a pandemic or through politics and all the things that go on in social media, more and more people have an opinion. More and more people are talking about what is happening within their particular brands or the areas of which they're concerned about on social media, and left unhinged impacts your brand, whether that's a positive output or a negative output. So here's an example of some different data that we created for some dashboards for one of our clients that was going through some difficulties and some crises due to some of these cyber and fraud related issues that continue to occur and have increased over the recent years. We classify different things as positive, negative, neutral based on an analytics text or speech analytics tool, and can also filter the comments to focus specifically on negative comments, understanding more specifically what they are, and even taking to a next step of having different phrasing. For example, on this next slide, we can see where we looked at one of the particular problems that was occurring is that people were having issues with installments, withdrawals, and payments. Bad actors were trying to take them automatically through their accounts to pay somewhere else. And so having a means of automatically identifying people who have had a potential issue associated to that enabled us to identify them quickly and even interact with those particular customers. This is an example of some of the kinds of commentary that we're able to find and where it will help us see what to dig into versus just carte blanche looking at every single comment, having more of a scientific approach. One item that becomes more important, especially for those of you with very large brands, is the amount of comments. How fast? Do you have an influencer creating greater amount of noise within your network? Stories like this enable us to see, okay, who's creating the most noise, identify who those people are, to enable to go and talk to those individuals, and hopefully prevent them from spreading more bad, and hopefully change those negative into positive outcomes. Because let's be honest, it's almost impossible to completely control them. So it's about changing the outcome, helping them become a positive promoter of the brand in which you're trying to represent. The second step, because the first step is obviously looking out, and I've already mentioned trying to reach out. Well, not every agent can just simply reach out to one of these people. Some of them, especially if we were to look at the last slide of somebody that may have had 211 views or likes associated to theirs, they may be something highly opinionated. Well, that's going to be a possible difficult customer to interact with. So we take some of our better agents and we start to train them in key contact drivers that they're going to represent associated to those comments. We arm them with the right tools. We arm them with the rebuttals that they're going to require, the type of conversations that they're going to have, and then they'll have a direct message to their social media accounts to start the conversation, start talking to them, start helping them with the problems that they may have. This particular process that we did, it took a couple of months for the negative social media comments to go down. However, even after, when we were able to resolve all of the different commentaries that were there, we were able to reach out to all of the different parties that had difficult scenarios who hadn't, by the way, reached out directly to customer service at that point. They maintained their Hypercare team, and they were able to continue to work with them. And eventually, in the long term, we're able to transition things to the regular customer service channels. And social media monitoring remains in action today in order to supply the support to these people as required.